everyone, and happy Monday to you. Hope you had a marvelous Monday. Mine started out really on point because I had a guest speaker coming on today for my YouTube channel. I'm going to be talking about family involvement, etc. The speaker, as I had advertised, is a retired principal, has really served in every aspect of schooling, from a parent to a teacher to becoming a department chair, then becoming an assistant principal, then a principal, and then even after she retired, she went on to work at the district office, helping the assistant superintendent over that area work with principals so that they could become as highly effective as she was when she served as principal. Well, I was glad to have her on, but the enemy was not glad because it started going downhill from there. We were going to come on about 11 because the Ed Chatter session is at noon each Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So we were going to go on at 11, do a quick little dry run, and then we would come back at noon and go through the actual video. Live stream, so, I was excited about it. Let me tell you that started out, I could see her, she looked amazing. She saw me, she could hear me, but I couldn't hear her. And I said, I cannot hear you. I don't know why. So I said, well, we'll just have to hear you through the phone. We got to go on because, we're about to run out of time. Long story short, we started getting a lot of feedback on her phone end, on my phone end. I said, I got to fix this. So I said to her, you're showing muted on my end. She says, no, I'm not muted. And I said, but it's saying you're muted. We finagle, and then there was the Ed Chatter sign in front of the screen, and she said, I can't even see you because of the Ed Chatter. I said, I don't know why that is. Long story short, she finally believed me that she was muted, and she unmuted herself. Then I had already gotten a little anxious and kind of wired after that. So then I said, okay, I will go in here and see why does this sign not move. Well, prayed a quick prayer of faith and was directed to where to move the sign and how to move the sign. Okay, we're in good business. I proceeded by having her to introduce herself. She gave some good information, and she's a very modest person, so she didn't even tell a third about, or a fourth even, of who she is and what she's done and what she brings to the table. But at any rate, she did explain that she is currently serving in the position as the family liaison for a charter school. Before I go any further, I want you to, if you didn't like the video when you came in, and if you didn't, subscribe to the channel, and if you didn't, get your hand on that notification bell so that you'll know every time I upload content. You need to do that. So at any rate, I began to share about me and a little bit so you would have a good idea of who I am. And just so you will know, I'm just going to recap that in a brief space. I too have been a parent. I am a parent, and I got into education really through the back door. I was a political science pre-law major, was volunteering at my daughter's school, and the principal said, you're doing such a great job. We need to get you in PTA. Got in PTA, and then from there, I got a closer look at what was going on in the school, and then started making suggestions, and he said, look, what means you here? You're here as much as I am. You may as well get paid for it. So I did not go get on hired at that school, but I did get hired on at one of the other schools because that same principal who said that shortly thereafter became director of personnel. And so he recruited me into the district. And then God gave me a lot of favor because I shot through like a rocket, became a teacher for 3 years, was made an assistant principal, stayed an assistant principal for 2 years, and then became principal. From there, it's been uphill all the way. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I'm just saying I've been advancing upwardly since that time. Been an assistant superintendent and a superintendent in 3 different districts. Love education, love children, and I have a passion for this work. So that's how the strategic advantage actually came about. So at any rate, I shifted gears back to my guests, and the video is going nicely. I began asking her some questions. She began sharing a lot about what she does on a daily basis and how she engages parents and families in that school, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It was a dynamite session. I just couldn't help but keep complimenting her. And she says she's been doing this family and parent engagement work for the last 10 years. I did not realize it was that long. I'm gonna cut to the chase and tell you that she is an associate of the Strategic Advantage. And once I can get this video downloaded, I'm going to post it. And I can tell you, if you are a school administrator or remotely tied to administration, you're going to want to hire her to come in and talk to your teachers and, parents, et cetera, et cetera. So at any rate, I want to share now some of what she said. And the reason I'm doing that is because Murphy was not done with the law after the encumbrances that we had and challenges that we had at the onset of the live. When we were done, I proceeded to download the video and, send it up, get it all going over to YouTube with a good thumbnail and blah, blah, blah. And lo and behold, there was no video. Can you believe that? I mean, I told her that was such a dynamite session. I thanked her immensely for coming on and shared with her, that I'm even going to take her out to lunch one day this week because she did such a great job. My purpose for telling you all of this is because I don't have a video, and so I'm making you one now. And I want to tell you some of the things she said because it was so worthwhile. She started out by saying that parent and family involvement is just necessary to enhance the learning for students and to help them to, achieve and do well in school. She went ahead to say some of the examples that she used when she was a principal. She talked about doing dads and donuts. She did a lot of principal chats with parents. She had an award ceremony for parents. And she also talked about any number of meaningful ways that they can be engaged. She talked about giving them a monthly, at her present employment, giving parents a monthly parent university session. She says she does it twice on a given day in the morning so that she can catch those parents that would best be served in the morning. And she also does it about 6:30 in the evening. She said it's always virtual, so if they want to attend the session in their pajamas or otherwise, they can. And then she went on to talk about every month she gives them a meaningful way that they can be involved in their child's education. She gives some specific websites and a number of apps that are available on the Google Play Store and on Apple. She also talked about that when she is done with that session for any given month, she writes a written summary and she gives it to the principal, she gives it to the counselor and the academic coaches so that they know what is being communicated to parents. They also make recommendations to her prior to each month's session so that if there's something coming up in the school or that needs to be shared, she will be able to do that. She went on to say that at the end of every meeting, she does a Q&A session. And she says oftentimes it's not even about what she presented that day that the questions center on. The parents have so much other things that they want information about. And they will make, good questions. She makes certain that the appropriate persons, particularly the principal et al., will get those questions so that they can use them to inform practices at the school or just information sessions going forward. She then talked about how she delivers the professional learning for that school, and that in doing so, she gets an opportunity to take some of what she's hearing from parents and integrate it into the professional learning. So everything really becomes full circle, and it's a good scenario. She says that she meets with other liaisons in the district 2 to 3 times a year, and that each of the schools will bring samples of what they're doing in terms of parent and family involvement so that they can share and learn and glean from each other. And I thought that was wonderful. I asked her what were some kinds of things with professional learning that she was able to tie to this, to her work. And she said that one of the first things that she goes over with teachers is how to do parent conferences. She talks about the do's, and then she talks about the don'ts. And then we had some further dialogue, and I shared that One of the things I used to always tell my teachers is that begin every parent conference with something positive that they can say about the students. And then to make certain that along the way, to remind parents that you really want the same thing that they want, then that is what's best for their children. And then we talked about when we would close, I asked her to tell us how did she normally close out those sessions. And she said that, by telling them what's going to be coming next month. And that, actually further engages them and it whets their appetite for the next setting. The whole time we were going, I just took some notes that I wanted to make certain that I shared or really revisited. Did not know I would be sharing it like this. But at any rate, I want to let you know that was a dynamite session. Again, the guest speaker was Dr. Jacqueline A. George, and a retired principal, current parent and family liaison in a private school. This session at noon was supposed to include some ideas on how to engage students in the classroom. We had discussed ahead of time that she would focus on the family involvement, parent and family involvement, and I would focus on engaging students in the classroom and maximizing those opportunities for them. Well, we had such a good session on the parents, we didn't even get to the students today. So you have that to look forward to on Wednesday. That's when we will address that. I will share, and I may very well have another visitor on Wednesday. Hopefully. I mean, the best laid plans of mice and men. I don't know what it is. I told myself one day last week, I said, maybe I'm too old to be doing this, to be starting this now. But then I rebuked that and said, I have a passion for this work. I could be retired watching soap operas or doing something, but I am working on the work. I love what I do. I love kids. And we have, as I have stated in 2 other videos, we have so many new teachers in schools across the state and nation. Some of them are ill-prepared or not prepared at all. And that's because this is a second career for them. And so I feel like if I can continue to give back, then it's going to be all to the benefit of students and to watchers such as yourself. So that was what it was about this morning.